Lesson 62.1d. Topic: Creative Magic Rituals for those who lack the mental capacity to perform them through the most direct route. Part 4. The following ritual is for obtaining or meeting a partner. The preceding considerations refer to the fact that one may desire a partner, but what one must find first is to determine whether the universe and ultimately the Father, since everything depends on him and his plans, is willing for you to meet a partner. This is the first important consideration, because you can perform the ritual and yet have no effect. On the contrary, it may even be tridimensional, because it is outside the Father's plans, and that rarely has positive consequences. To know if you can perform the ritual to find a partner, you first need to know if the Father in his plans intends for you to find one. You can do this if you have sufficient mental level by meditating and listening to the Father's response, which may be through a light or dark response or through words, either by speaking directly to the Father, to a lower spiritual hierarchy, or to your spiritual teacher. I have spoken about this in previous lessons. If you don't have any spiritual sensitivity in this regard, you must listen for the answer through other divination methods, such as tarot or another divination method. All these divination methods are usually receptive to people's energy. They just require a little bit of belief. They usually work, like runes, tarot, and other available methods that you may be all familiar with. Once you have seen that it is in the Father's plans for you to find a partner, you can move on to the next phase, which is to begin the ritual. To begin this ritual, if you know the person you want to be your partner, you can have their photo, the candle, and the stones. Perform the invocation through the candle's energy while looking at the person's photo. This is the invocation to the candle, wishing that they will be your partner. You can use any words you like, such as "I want them to fall in love," "to be my partner," or something similar. Do this for at least 10 minutes if your intuition is open and you listen to the messages from the Father or the universe or from the spiritual hierarchy or lower realms, such as your spiritual teacher, guardian angel, etc., you will know when to stop. Normally, you don't know who your future partner is. You don't even have an idea of what they look like. In that case, I recommend placing 3 candles in the shape of an equilateral triangle. In the center of the 3 candles, place a religious symbol that has great power for you, such as a Buddha statue or any religious object from your faith. Place the 3 candles in the center of the equilateral triangle they form, surrounding this group of 3 candles and the religious object in the center of the equilateral triangle formed by the candles. You can place several religious objects in the center, but you must use natural objects gathered from the mountains or natural landscapes, as long as they are uncontaminated and possess positive energy. Also, place the candles, semi-precious stones, and salts that you have collected, charged with the energy of the sun. You can charge the salt when it is empty. I will remind you of the charging process. You must do this once a day to ensure it is fully charged. Place the candles in the sun for 2 or 3 hours. That is usually sufficient. Once you have placed all these objects on the altar, as I have indicated, and knowing that it is the Father's wish that you find a partner, I say this so that your ritual will be effective. Otherwise, you are wasting your time. If it can't be, it can even be counterproductive, as I said before, because you are longing for something that can't happen, and that goes against your spiritual evolution. It may be that your spiritual evolution includes the desire to find a partner, but you need to be alone to find yourself. And if you've hit rock bottom, you need to want to climb out. Once you know it is the Father's plans, what you need to do is the following. The objects you have placed on the altar may be enough, but if you place a mirror behind it all, above the altar, the ritual will be much more effective, because your image is projected into the universe through the energy of the candle and the objects you have placed on the altar. Your image is transferred much more easily to the energetic realm of the universe, where all levels of reality exist, where physical reality is created, and where everyone in this physical reality has their own energy, and you can see how they relate to one another. You can only perceive this if you meditate at a deep level, but I assure you it is true. The ritual works, and all ritual work because of this. Because all people and all elements of physical reality have their counterpart in these energetic worlds, in the higher realities, where the reality of the physical world is created. Having said this, which I offer as an explanation, you must send a message, for example, I want to meet my partner. I want them to be good for my spiritual evolution. I want them to be good for my evolution as a person. I also want to be good for that other partner, that we are compatible, that our spiritual and personal evolution is in every way is good for both of us. You can say this for at least 10 minutes. If you listen to the energy of the Father and the Father's response, or through the spiritual hierarchy at lower levels, you will know when to stop. You must perform this ritual every day. End of lesson 62.1d, part 4.